Isolation. Stay away from all the subway stations. Now's the time to limit your relations. This is info for your conservation and observation. I am at my home. I am all alone. I am at my home in isolation. Isolation. Time for practicing your masturbation. Sorry that you canceled your vacation. It's not just you, it's the whole entire nation. In isolation. I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
I am all alone.
I'm all alone.
I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
In isolation. My constipation in isolation has really helped my toilet paper situation. Should hold up depending on the duration that they keep us in isolation. I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
I am all alone.
I am all alone.
I am at my home.
I am still at my home.
I am in isolation.
In isolation.
Isolation, a conversation we should have with every single generation. The older people need a working vaccination. The younger people aren't afraid of decimation. I am at my home. I am all alone. I picked up the phone.
Hello.
And I said hello.
Hi.
Isolation breeds agitation unless you find a way to get some inspiration. Isolation, film acclamation, or just eat chips and talk to friends while on PlayStation.
A little boy on the road. I said, hey man, you shouldn't be alone. I said, maybe you can give me your phone and then I can help you call home. You can't be more than 4'4", and I think it's about to get dark. He said, I'm 36 and I think I'm okay to walk through this park. And that's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never guess an age with your eyes. And that's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never judge an age, never judge an age with your eyes. Never judge an age, never judge an age. I saw a girl the other day. I bumped into her when I was on my way. I said, little girl, let me know what brings you to the mall here all alone. She said, maybe 'cause I'm 52. I've got my whole life hating damn people like you. That's when I realized you never judge a person by the size. That's when I realized you should never guess an age with your eyes. That's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never judge an age with your eyes. Never judge an age, never judge an age.
isolation. Stay away from all the subway stations. Now's the time to limit your relation. Information for your conservation and observation. Isolation, time for practicing your masturbation. Sorry that you canceled your vacation. It's not just you, it's the whole entire nation in isolation.
We believe we should confront anxiety with a clear plan to deal with its root causes.
Just before we get to questions, I'm supposed to model healthy behavior. Model healthy behavior. Nice and sunny, but a little brisk.
My constipation in isolation has really helped my toilet paper situation. Should hold up depending on the duration. I have to stay in isolation. Isolation, a conversation you should have with every single generation. The older people need a working vaccination. The younger people are afraid of decimation.
Listen, Canada is a modest country. We know we can't solve these problems alone. We know we need to do this all together. We know it will be hard work, but we're Canadian, and we're here to help. And it's our job as your government to do justice to that compassion and to that kindness that you show to one another each and every day. We can build a better world for our kids and grandkids. This is who we are. This is what we believe in. This is Canada.
Isolation breeds agitation unless you find a way to get some inspiration. Make a creation, film a claymation, or just eat chips and talk to friends while on PlayStation. Station.
This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics, for this song, for this song. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics to the song, to the song. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song, for this song. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song, for this song.
Maybe a rap part comes in here, I'm not sure, it's not clear. Maybe it would sound weird if we don't do a rap part. Maybe we do a verse that sounds similar to the first, so it would sound like this part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song, for this song.
I'm pretty safe in saying that Seth has won enough money on Jeopardy to pay off all of his student loans. Joe and Ben, good to have you with us, and good luck to all three as we go to work now in the Jeopardy round.
And you're live.
Hi, welcome to There's Always Jeopardy, the show where we watch Jeopardy and then talk about Jeopardy. And generally just trying to get through this global pandemic. I'm Pat. We're here with Jan. Jan, how you?
I'm Jan. Hi, I'm good. I'm good, Pat. I just jumped in there. I'm having a bit of a day.
You're Jan.
I'm Jan, having a day.
Tell me about your day.
Well, I started binge watching Schitt's Creek. It's a lovely show. It's not the show that like when I first started watching it, I had expectations of what the characters would be. They totally like circumvent that. And then this morning just had a full cry about Schitt's Creek.
Maggie just said, me too. That was my experience. I watched a few episodes of it early on, and I tried to fight the inferiority complex with Canadian television, you know what I mean? My first instinct, even though it's got some legends in it.
Huge.
My first instinct is like, oh, Canada made this? It's got to be just okay.
Speaking as people who work in Canadian television.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work in Canadian television and are constantly disappointed. But I don't know. I saw a few episodes and I thought it was pretty good. And then right before this pandemic hit, Maggie, who was on mat leave already, binge watched it, and she loves it. And she's everything that you're saying, that it's full of heart and it's the characters are really nice and good.
Yeah, it's a very wholesome show, as the kids say.
So now I got to check it out, but when? Because Maggie's seen all of it. And she's always here.
You got to watch it under the cover of night.
Always here. Those deals, you know what I mean?
I get it.
I figure I should give the people what they want, a tomato sauce update.
Please, I've been dying for it all day.
Yeah, if you've missed any episodes, let me just bring you up to speed. I got some groceries delivered a few days ago, and I thought I'd ordered 3 jars of tomato sauce. But I got 8. I got 8 jars, and our cupboard is full, the one that would normally house the tomato sauce. So now some of them are just on the floor in the kitchen, and that's okay for now. But I have 8 jars, and the last update that I gave you was that we made pizza, and so we were down to 7.5 jars of tomato sauce. And I want to say we're still there.
Yeah. Well, because yesterday,
last night.
Yesterday you had, correct me if I'm wrong, but we spoke about it. You had a delicious roasted vegetable side with cheese and crackers.
With cheese and crackers, that's right.
Did that happen?
That happened. That completely happened. It was very nice. Yeah. I was a little skeptical about it. It sounded like a weird mix, but it was great. It was great. I just have a bad attitude. That's my deal.
Yeah, I've always said that about you.
Speaking of tomato sauce, I wanted to give a shout out to some frontline workers. There are these 3 restaurants, 3 Italian restaurants. Well, one of them specializes in gelato bars, but it's Baldassari, Sugo, and Bar Ape. And they call themselves the Marinara Boys. They get together, and now they're making a lot of meals and bringing them to hospitals for healthcare. 3 Italian restaurants. One of them specializes in all the time making pasta and different nice Italian dishes to just bring to the hospitals and give them to the healthcare workers. And it's just great. So I just wanted to shout out Marinara Boys.
I think that's terrific. And I think what better food to bring to frontline workers than Italian food? Is there any more comforting food?
No, of course not. Of course
than
not.
Italian
Why do you
food?
think I ordered 8 jars of tomatoes?
But the thing is, you'll get through those 8 jars.
I will.
It's just a space issue.
Look, I'm a spaghetti head from way back. It's going to be fine. It's gonna, in the end, it's gonna be fine. But
It's gonna be fine.
But I will keep everyone posted as the supply goes down.
Yeah. Now we don't do this show over the weekend. So today is Friday.
Right.
So I feel like this is a big cliffhanger for Monday because you got 2 whole days.
Yeah. So we're at 7.5 jars now. What's your bet? By the time we speak again on Monday, where do you think I'm going to be tomato sauce wise?
I feel you'll use up that last half a jar and maybe get into number 6.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. There is some talk of tortellini tonight.
Ooh, that's a yum yum.
It's just talk at this point.
What's that? What are you stuffing those bad boys with? What they come stuffed with?
It's a 3 cheese.
Oh, yeah.
It's a PC Splendido.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It'll be all right. Can I tell you, I posted a while ago on Facebook that just as, because I'm posting stuff all the time now that I'm home and not working, and I'm bored. I'm trying to keep everyone's spirits up. You know, Larry looks, all this
Larry
stuff.
looks fantastic.
One thing that I did just randomly was like, hey, guys, what's your Jeopardy story? What would your Jeopardy story be if you happen to be on Jeopardy? And I said, if you could control everything, what is your Jeopardy story? And like control what Alex says to you, what you say back, whatever. And really, I only got one good Jeopardy story from asking that question. And it was from someone who we have as a guest on this show today.
So excited.
I'm very excited to have him. We'll get to what his Jeopardy story will be in a while. But right now, let's welcome to the show, Jeremy Woodcock.
Hi, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
I think you need to unmute your mic.
Cheers for myself.
Cheers for you.
Yeah. Thanks for
what
the
a
tip.
Soothing voice.
Oh, good.
Can you just just say a few words? I've had a soft
Double
day
Jeopardy.
crying. Oh yeah, I like it. That's very good. I might call you later. I've been having some trouble sleeping.
How's it going, Jeremy?
Pretty good. I was glad to hear about the spaghetti sauce. I just got my first new batch of groceries in today. I was like working through what I already had. And then speaking of Italian food, my last big hope, I found this thing that my aunt had given me at Christmas called a pizza making kit. And I'd never really opened it up. It was just encapsulated. And I opened it up last night and I was so excited. And it was flour, a little bag of flour. And on the box, it had like tomato and pesto and all these toppings. And it was one of those things that was like, just add yeast, tomato sauce, cheese, like everything except a little square bag of flour. So then today I was like, groceries. It's time.
It didn't even include the yeast?
No, it included a novelty pan. It was like a little cast iron pan like that for like a personal pizza and the bag of flour in there. But I can get these. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen cookies like that. They come in a little skillet, but maybe it's with flour.
We were in a
skillet.
Yeah, sometimes they should give you at least half of the things you need.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I guess yeast does theoretically it doesn't go bad, but it loses its potency. So maybe that's why they don't include it. But still, just to it's like, Jeremy, my nephew, my sister's boy.
Yeah.
Here's a bag of flour for Christmas.
She probably got duped by the outside too. Yeah.
Bless her.
It could include the same stuff. Just say flour and pan instead of pizza making kit.
I feel like this already is quite a good Jeopardy story. I feel like this could be like your third, like if you were,
this is it.
Yeah, if you were on your third round, your third game, I feel like this might come up.
Yeah, that's my big fear. But what do you go after after the first story? It drops off a lot.
Yeah. Well, we've been watching this Seth Wilson run, and definitely he's scraping.
Yeah.
Some of these stories. It's been tough for him.
But
I mean, doing great at the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be tough for everybody. I think even if you've led and I'm sure he has, but even if you've led the most interesting life, because I was thinking about it, because we were talking about it, and it's like you have like 10 seconds max to tell a story. Mm-hmm. And as we know, like comedy requires the setup for the punch, right? You can't just go like pie in the face at the airport. and have that be a good story.
Yeah, you can't just tell the peak. Yeah.
So it would be tough.
I feel like the more somebody stayed on, people who tuned in, like this person's won 30 games, 40 games, they would seem like a really boring person, but it's only because they can't say any of the good stuff anymore.
Yeah.
What's up? Maggie has a question. Yeah.
Can he tell a story every time for 73 days?
Yeah, he had to.
No.
He had to. I mean, it doesn't have to be a story, but it has to. He has to say something there.
What? Who has 73 interesting things to say?
Nobody. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I have like 6 interesting things.
No, I'm sure it's more, Jan.
All right, maybe 7. After this tomato sauce experience, I could be like, well, my friend got 8 jars of tomato sauce.
Story,
we talked about it every day.
So, Jeremy, we're doing this show because Jeopardy is a comforting thing in our lives, and we can just something to do right now is find it on Netflix. I imagine you've had a long-standing relationship with Jeopardy.
Yeah, big fan. Ken Jennings' run is when I like started watching it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and my friend would watch it every day in like second year university. And then when and then I remember being spoiled on his win. CNN that morning was like, Ken Jennings loses tonight. And we were like, that was what we were waiting for, like the excitement, and we just,
loses tonight. That's interesting.
CNN spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, have you ever done the online test? Like, have you ever?
I have. In fact, I feel like I'm kind of burying the lead. I've actually auditioned in person before.
Oh, nice.
Last summer.
And
so I'm in the like thing right now. The
you're in the
rotation.
soup.
I'm in the soup.
Cool. What?
Wow.
Where did you audition?
Boston. I had to get to Boston, which I didn't know how to get to because it's all so theoretic. Nothing's in Canada. So they're like, where do you live? Boston, Chicago, Texas, or California? And I was like, none of them. So I just said, like, I live in Boston, basically. And then they wrote back, and then I had to find a way to get there in like a week and a half.
Oof, that's fast.
Yeah. It was a really fast turnaround once they emailed.
It doesn't take a week and a half to get to Boston, though,
That's
right?
like an hour.
No.
I like that before, Jeremy, you said I had to figure out how to get there. And I was like, well, you do know that like a bus will take you there. Like you don't have to,
never seen me travel.
Walk.
No, yeah. I just have no sense of direct. So it was like, if I start planning, I got there like 2 days in advance. I mean, because Boston seems cool, but also like, I was like, if I plan to get there that day, I will not get there that day.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
miss,
that's too
like,
nerve-wracking.
something with the plane. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We had my brother on the show, and he auditioned for Jeopardy, but he was able to do it here in Toronto.
Oh, sweet.
New York a few years ago.
That would be really convenient.
Yeah,
That's a bus.
I'm sure you could figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a subway ride.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this episode. It is episode 12 of the Seth Wilson run. And I got to say, this is one of my favorite outfits from Seth.
Me too.
It's the zip-up cardigan that I think we saw in his first episode. He's got the pink shirt back on, but now a flamingo tie. It looks fun.
I didn't notice that they were flamingos. How whimsical. Also, I liked the sleeves pushed up, ready to clicky click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I like this episode. What about you guys?
Yeah, like Seth was a real high scorer in this episode. He pretty much walked away with it again.
Yeah.
I felt like Joe knew a lot of things and he just could never, everyone he's buzzing in. And then when he would finally get it, he'd answer it and he's like, oh, I'm not used to this. I have to pick a cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't get into a rhythm if you can't buzz in.
Yeah. I feel like he was very nervous. Like my other favorite, Sharon, from a few episodes back, who was also very nervous. Because at one point he even says the answer before Alex says his name.
Yes.
Like the buzzer went to Seth, but Joe starts talking, and that's
really rare.
That's so rare. You never see it, and I feel like you could like see his hands shaking.
You could really see that guy needs Zen meditation.
She does.
Which he does. Well, more about that later. So the topics for the first round: salute the red, white, and blue, just about flags. Theater talk, which I thought was interesting because, as we know, Seth is a PhD in theater, but he didn't get the first couple here. He was beaten out by someone else there. Have an affect, which is just words with EF in it. Keep it 100. What a TV character, which again, unbelievably easy.
Yeah.
And it's the Catalina wine mixer, which didn't end up being about Step Brothers at all.
I know, which was so disappointing. And I'm like, oh, a little nod to Step Brothers. But they did have some like weird movie references in there. Like in the clues, it would be like, oh, they made this wine for the longest time, which is the song that they sing in that scene. But like, if you hadn't seen the movie, like if you didn't know the movie really well, you'd never go like, oh yeah, the Catalina wine mixer, the Step Brothers.
And I even wondered when the guy on the end said like, great Catalina wine mixer, great movie. And Alex was like, yes. Like I didn't know for sure he knew Step Brothers.
Can you just imagine Alex Trebek kicking back in his jammies, flipping through the tube and just going like, oh shit, Step Brothers started 10 minutes ago. Yes. Which is always my reaction.
Yeah.
I really like that movie.
Well, I mean, obviously the most famous impression of Alex Trebek is Will Ferrell. So either he loves him or he hates him.
Yeah.
So Double Jeopardy.
I had a weird thought in Single Jeopardy, just on one question. I wanted to know your guys' take on this weird Jeopardy etiquette thing. So the guy in the end answered something wrong. He said an efficient, and the answer was a coefficient.
Yeah.
So he said an efficient, and then Seth said, Alex said no, and then Seth said, what is a coefficient? And there's like a way where you can just go like, what is a coefficient? Like you're saying the right answer, or where you're making clear like what he got wrong.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know sometimes you do feel, I feel like Seth is too nice a human to be like, what is a coefficient ding dong? But you do sometimes feel it when that happens. The little snarky, like, oh no, what is centrifugal force?
I mean, I guess you want to make clear. Yeah, it's hard to know in the moment what you'd be.
Yeah, he might have just been trying to make sure that it was clear he wasn't giving the same answer.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, the other guy must have felt that. So Double Jeopardy, we had British history. We had I See What You Did There. Best Picture, Oscar winners by setting, which I thought
category.
Rhymes with a state. Oh yeah, there was a weird one here because they said that Amania rhymes with Pennsylvania, but it rhymes with half of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a soft rhyme, if anything.
Yeah.
There was one there where I'm like, what does this rhyme with? I couldn't figure it out, but I can't remember, of course, what it was right now.
The only ones I can think of there was the Borgias, which rhymes with Georgia.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Gain, which rhymes with Maine. I can't remember.
There was what Panorama was one, which I didn't.
That was it.
Yeah.
Alabama?
Yes. No, that's like such a tiny part of the word rhymes with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
That was a late night in the writer's room. I don't know. Alabama? I don't. Are we getting dinner? Did someone order dinner?
Something I always think about whenever Jeopardy writers come up is that like any time I've gotten a job on a writing on a show here in Canada, like let's say 22 Minutes, for instance, the first thing you think is like, oh yeah, let me in there. I'll shake things up. I'll do something really funny that they've never seen before, whatever, which is never what they want. But no, that's not true. Some people have done really revolutionary things on there, but not me. But I wonder if anyone approaches this Jeopardy job like that. You know, like this isn't your dad's Jeopardy. You know what I mean? Like,
what if we do a category where it's just like sex toys?
Yeah, let's get nuts. Anyways, rhymes with the state, and then Lazarus, and then Rising.
Yeah. Cute.
Yeah. It was a pretty good game, but obviously, somebody didn't make it to Final Jeopardy.
No, and that's always sad.
It's always sad. Yeah. You don't want to see that.
Not to make it too poignant, but when he missed that last question, he looked off stage at like, I think his people like,
sorry.
Also, like Alex always makes sure that they know that so you've officially come in third place and you're going to get $1,000 or whatever. But now having talked to Ben, and you would know this too, Jeremy, that you have to go at your own expense to Jeopardy. So $1,000 probably isn't covering your trip.
No way.
You know what I mean?
Although maybe if you're from America, maybe flights are cheaper, but like still, you're staying in a hotel, like.
Yeah, that's true. If it ended up being a night or two in a hotel and a flight, maybe it's okay. Maybe you broke even.
Well, that'd be worth it.
But yeah, you get to be on Jeopardy. That's the dream, right?
I think it would be worth it even if you came out of it like $5,000 in debt. I'd be like,
yeah, it's like you paid a little bit to go on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex Trebek talked to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's worth $5,000.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Yeah.
Today I did go online and see what it would take to get an autographed picture of Alex Trebek.
Oh yeah, and what would it take?
Essentially, you just have to write to them and send a self-addressed stamped envelope, like with your address on it. And they were saying like sometimes it takes like 8 months, but you will get a picture.
We all know Gary Rideout Jr., but Gary Rideout Sr.
Oh yeah.
At least for a while there, was sending away for signed celebrity headshots all the time, and had a wall in his house of them. Like
that's amazing.
Just everyone, and it was it's pretty wild. I think he really saw them as an investment. He also has a wall of Barbie dolls. It doesn't matter. He's
also makes maple syrup.
He's a fun guy.
These keep getting more interesting each one.
So it all worked out.
I once sent away for a signed picture of Judge Judy for our friend Jason DeRoss, because he's like, if I were to leave my wife for one woman, it would be Judge Judy. Don't quote me on that, because I may have just imagined him saying it, and if that's the truth, I'm so sorry, Jenny, but like it came really quickly, and it was very touching.
You know that Judge Judy ended her show, but that's because she didn't own her show. And now she's starting a new show called Judy Justice, I think.
Yeah.
Same
show. Closest.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same show, I think.
She's one of the richest women in the world.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Because they were saying something about like Trump appointing her to the Supreme Court. And she was like, you think I'm going to leave this pile of money that I sit on every night to go sit on the Supreme Court? Like, guess again.
I'm good.
I'm okay. I have a ponytail now.
Does she?
I think it's time to take a look at the stories.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was big news just then.
Yeah, Google it.
Judy ponytail. I'll bang it after, yeah.
Ben Wins is from New York City, and when he came out of college, got his dream job, which was?
I worked for a professional soccer team in their front office, the Charleston Battery.
Now, why soccer? What interested you in soccer as a young man?
I've always been a fan, and I don't know. I guess I got kind of sick of American sports after some point.
Do you play soccer? Did you?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Were you good at it?
More of a destroyer than a creator, to use soccer terms.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
Joe Schneider from New Jersey, right next door to New York. Now, you don't have any money at the moment, and I know that you practice Zen meditation. In the first part of the round, you weren't practicing Zen meditation, were you?
Not at all. I've fallen off a little bit. But yes, this was something that I've been doing for about 9 years. I was meditating by myself for a year. Then I decided I really need a group to get me going. I searched online, and I found an excellent one near me at Rutgers. It's just been a great help and a wonderful thing.
A help in what way, precisely?
Just generally waking up and feeling great about the day ahead,
and about yourself.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. Terrific. Seth, Jay Cutler, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. You had an encounter with him.
Yes, he and I went to the same undergraduate institution, and I shared an elevator with him one time, and there were a couple of linemen with him. They had been out to eat, I think, and they asked me if I recognized him, and I said, of course. He's the most successful quarterback we've had probably ever. So it was a brush with greatness.
Okay. Are you a Chicago Bears fan?
They are probably my third favorite team in the league. Yes.
What's your favorite team?
The Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons. Okay. Let's see how things work out this season.
Yes.
Right now, you're in command of the board. Go ahead, make a selection. As
Salute the red, white, and blue for 200.
Lot to unpack there. Yeah.
Very good. For starters, Alex couldn't care less about soccer. The whole to use soccer terms, and he's like, okay, very good. Just dissed him.
Yeah.
Is there a soccer term called destroyer? I felt like he was pulling it out of nowhere.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess I don't know enough about soccer.
Same.
Clearly, we're a bunch of Trebeks.
What would a creator do in soccer?
Pass the ball.
Yeah.
I love how none of us know anything about soccer. Ball?
There's a ball, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm in love with Joe, man. He's so sweet. He's just like doing it for a while by himself. Realized he needed a group.
Yeah.
No man is an island.
Benefited. Yeah. I feel like people watching benefited from hearing Joe say that, although I feel like he's still trying to relax. I didn't know when Alex said, like, you don't have any money at the moment. I thought he was going like bigger picture, and I was really worried.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. So, Joe, you're broke.
So you're not doing well, right?
My card says you're homeless?
But it was a bit of a roast from Alex. It was basically like, so Joe, have you been sleeping this whole first part?
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
you haven't things and yeah. And then
but look at his little face. Such a sweet smile on this guy.
Yeah.
Thrill of a lifetime to go on Jeopardy. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing great. He says that every day he wakes up feeling great about the day ahead.
Great.
What more can you ask for? I wonder if he's still feeling like that during this pandemic.
I was just going to say, I'm sure he's doing better than I am right now. He had a full mental breakdown over an episode of Schitt's Creek.
Okay, yeah. Maybe
it might happen again right now. I'm not even kidding.
Alex just did his it's either really nice, it's really like really good or really bad when he just ends with good for you. Like it sort of depends on what it has been said. You can tell if it's how appropriate it was. He just either he wanted to congratulate them or he didn't know what to say, and he's like, good for you.
Okay. I always like the Alex Trebek okay, where he's like, okay.
Like when he hears an answer and says, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like when people get it wrong and he goes, oh, boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
There he is.
Yeah.
There's something so delightful about Seth saying that the Bears are his third favorite team. Oh, you a fan of them? Oh, they're probably my third favorite team.
Also, he's from Chicago.
He lives in Chicago.
He lives in Chicago. Oh, because I thought that they were like it's like from Chicago, Illinois, but maybe that's just where he lives, and I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was confused by this story, which doesn't say a lot for me, but because he said that he went to the same undergrad school as this football man, but was this guy playing like college ball at the time and they were at university, or was it like later and the university thing is just kind of a tangential detail to the story?
Didn't feel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and it could be either. It could be that because college football is so enormous. So if this guy was the big quarterback at that school at that time, then it still would have been like a brush with fame to see him in the elevator. Or it could be that the guy was already a Chicago Bear, but Seth knew him from when they were both.
True.
Well, this is a mystery that won't stay a mystery for long because we can ask him on Monday.
Yeah, well,
he's coming back to the show.
If you can, also ask him, because there were two other said, and then the two linemen said, "Do you know who this guy is?" And they all just sort of it was like him and two football players who were probably Jay Cutler's teammates, but they were all focusing on him. Yeah,
that's a good cue.
I don't know.
So we'll find out more about this football story. I'm quite literally making a note about it to ask on Monday.
Good. It's good to have notes. Let's talk about Final Jeopardy here. Did you get it?
I did not get it, and it was one of those ones where I'm like, I felt really dumb for not getting it after.
I got this one, and felt fluky, but it was in the novels, I think.
Yeah.
And the question was something like, if from the first scene of the book, he returned the brass nozzle and the great python, venomous kerosene or whatever, and the answer was Fahrenheit 451, which it just sounded to me like why would somebody have a hose full of kerosene? And I thought of the one book that's about burning.
Yeah.
So,
it's like I was by how little that book I've read. There was none of the rest of the book to block out.
What made me on this one was I could not have your Berdine? You know what? Old Country for Old Men, No Country for Old Men, Old Men for Old Men, where he has the thing and it's like,
oh yeah.
Is that, am I thinking of the right movie?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is it like, was that a book? I really, my wheels started going. And then I was like, oh, but was that compressed air? And then all I could think about was that movie for the whole 30 seconds. Nothing had a chance of permeating my brain.
That's where the 30 seconds really comes in. It's like if you hit something. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hosed.
Hey man, you get some, you don't get some.
I might have to go watch that movie now.
Let's move to this exciting part of the show. We're all Jeopardy fans, and we've all figured out what our stories would be if we were on Jeopardy. Jan, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I think I would have Alex ask me about an interesting time I spent in Manitoba one summer. And I would say I was working in Manitoba, and a local was very excited because we were there during the mating season for the garter snake. And she took us to Narcisse in Manitoba, where we got to watch snakes mate. And when garter snakes mate, they get all logy, and then they just let you pick them up and walk around with all these garter snakes. So I spent an afternoon just holding post-coital garter snakes. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's nice. That's nice. What do you think Alex would say about that?
I think he'd go, very nice. Okay.
He loves that. Yeah. I'm not going to touch that one. So I feel like he retroactively makes a story seem creepy because yours is just fun and picking up. But if he goes like, yikes, then everybody thinks your story was creepy, even if it wasn't.
Everybody's siding with Alex no matter what.
Yeah, he kills a lot.
Yeah. I think that would be there's Sharon. I love her. I think that would be my if I had one shot, that might be it.
Yeah.
I think that's excellent. For mine, I'd have Alex say, so you worked with one of your heroes one time? And I'd say, yes, Ice-T. And he'd say, tell me about that. And I said, I had a chance to work with Ice-T one time. And at lunch, I was talking to him about his work on Law and Order SVU. And I started choking on a piece of asparagus. And I was just sitting right next to him, and it got dire, and I had to reach into my throat and pull out like almost a whole piece of asparagus because it just sort of slid down while I was chewing it, and we just went right back to talking about it. It was not acknowledged by either of us. I was just like, so that was a crazy season finale. That would be my Jeopardy story.
Wow. Sorry, Pat. I don't mean to derail this story, but what did you work with Ice-T on?
Match game, yeah. At one point, just the two of us were sitting in the hallway on a little love seat eating peanut butter sandwiches. And that's one of the craziest memories of my life.
I can't. I'm closing. I'm out. I can't. That's amazing. You could do nothing more with the rest of your life.
Then the peanut butter sandwich went down, and you
pulled out a whole sandwich. I don't. That's a very good story, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. And you have a good story, Jeremy. Why don't you give it to us?
Sure. Well, so they filmed Jeopardy in America. So I would have Alex ask me about my first time going to America. And my friend and I, when we were young, we were huge baseball fans. And there was a brand new stadium they built in Cleveland, right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in like the mid 90s. So his dad suggested he had a week off work. Why don't we drive down and see a game in this brand new stadium? And this was like August. And so we drove down, took quite a while because he stopped to visit his brother in St. Catharines on the way. And he played the same Alan Jackson tape the whole time I was not familiar with. And we got down, but eventually we got down there, and it was really exciting. And we checked in a hotel. And then he went down to the lobby. He said he was going to go get a paper. And so he got the paper, his dad, and he came back upstairs, and he said that he was looking in the sports section to see whether Cleveland was in town, whether the Indians were in town to play a game. And they weren't. They were in the middle of like a 2-week road trip. And he's like this like IBM executive. Like I thought he just had this all down, and I never even dawned on me that you could not. So then he just kind of got confused. And then we checked out of the hotel and we went and got pizza.
Wait. First, how old were you?
I was like 11, 12.
Okay. So
we were just putting it all in his hands.
Yeah.
It was forgivable that you weren't familiar with Alan Jackson then.
Yeah.
So you say that you checked out of the hotel and left. Did you like not even stay the night?
You know what we did?
Well, this is pointless.
No, you know what we did? We drove to Pittsburgh. Because he looked in the same sports section and thought, what is nearby? Maybe he thought like Cincinnati first, but Pittsburgh was playing a game, and we went to a Pittsburgh Pirates game. I think it was torn, like that stadium was torn down like that winter, so it was like the opposite of our expectations of beautiful Cleveland.
Gorgeous new stadium.
Yeah.
Did you at least get to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we did. Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes.
So not a total bust of a trip. It wasn't like, oh, they're not playing. Everybody back in the car.
No, yeah, he definitely tried to make the most of it. It was all about that moment of like us looking at each other, and it's like, surely this was taken care of. Whether it's
That's primo.
That's really good.
Maggie says 10 out of 10 in case you didn't hear. I really hope that you get selected so you can tell that story on TV.
Be fun, yeah.
Oh, Jeremy, my fingers are so crossed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
If you happen to get selected before we're through all the episodes on Netflix, you have to come back on and tell us.
Oh, yeah, please.
And you have to get a picture of Alex Trebek signed to Jan. The most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
I can get those. I've gotten one signed picture in my life. It was Fred Savage. I wrote to him when I liked the show Wonder Years. He sent me back a little postcard, and it said, "May all your years be wonder years." Fred Savage.
Oh, that's nice.
It is. Although everyone who I've shown it to, they've always been like, he didn't write that. He was like your age at the time.
May all your years be wonder years.
Yeah. But it's not.
That's cool. This is vaguely related to, it's related to Fred Savage. I really, also on Netflix, they only made one season, but I really like the show The Grinder.
Oh, yeah.
With Rob Lowe and
Lowe.
Fred Savage. And Fred Savage is like top grade straight man. He's really, really good at it. Yeah. And I wish, for his sake more than anybody's, that show kept going.
But he directs a ton.
Yeah, he's always working.
Yeah, and he was in that Netflix show with the guy from Key and Peele and the lady from
Friends from College.
Friends from College, yeah, he was in that show too. He was quite good.
Pretty good.
Powers 3.
I think we should wrap it up for the day. We have a big guest. We have Seth coming back on Monday, but then also on Tuesday we have another huge Jeopardy champ, Austin Tyler Rogers, coming on here.
That's huge.
Great. So if you love Jeopardy, which would make sense while you're watching this, you should check that out.
Also, we should mention that we did reach out to get Alex Trebek in a real Hail Mary, but we got a response ASAP. It was amazing. He's focusing on his health and staying well, and he doesn't have the energy to extend himself to other projects, which we totally understand, and we just wish him all the best.
All the best, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, tune in tomorrow, tune in Monday. Monday. Today's Friday. Yes. Tune in Monday for more Seth Wilson and more tomato sauce updates. Thank you so much to Jeremy Woodcock for being our guest. And thank you to Dan producing this for us.
No problem. Right.
We'll see you later.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
I'm Seth Wilson. Be sure to watch There's Always Jeopardy at 6:30.
Although it was not a runaway for Seth in yesterday's game, he was.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to There's Always Jeopardy. Catch it Monday when our guest will be Seth Wilson, Jeopardy champion, coming back. And then Tuesday as well when we have another Jeopardy champion. Also, be sure to check out Pat Thornton's new album, Dumb Phone Calls, just released recently, I think today. So you want to check that out. And thanks for tuning in, and keep on tuning in because we like having you here. And tell your friends if you like it. And if you don't like it, don't say that to them. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.